Anime is just for kids. Brew, you clearly haven't watched real Seinen anime. Forget about anime where friendship solves everything and the hero always wins. Welcome to Seinen territory, where stories get real, characters get complex, and nobody's handing out participation trophies. We're talking mind games that'll make your head spin and plot twists that hit hard. These aren't just shows, they're brutal and sometimes straight up messed up masterpieces that don't treat you like a kid. Want anime with actual stakes, zero hand-holding, and sharp storytelling? Here are the 10 best seinen anime that'll make you question everything, including your life choices. Pass. Imagine living in a future where your every mood swing is scanned and scored like a creepy mental credit report. That's Japan under the Sybil system, a mega AI web that constantly reads your brainwaves, spits out a crime coefficient, and color codes your threat level. If your number spikes too high, the Public Safety Bureau shows up, armed with dominators, smart guns that judge you on the spot. One squeeze, and they either stun you or turn you into modern art. Enter Akana Tsunemori, the Bureau's newest inspector. Bright, idealistic, and way in over her head, she's paired with enforcers, latent criminals who hunt other criminals because the system says so. A Kane's job? Keep her cool, trust the Sybil readouts, and pull the trigger when the gun tells her to. Easy, right? Except everything gets murky fast. Justice versus free will, tech versus humanity, and a slick mastermind villain who pokes holes in the whole setup just for fun. Written by Gen Urobuchi, yep, the mind behind Fate Zero, and Madoka Magica, Psycho Pass is a hard-hitting cocktail of cyber-noir action and what-if philosophy. It'll have you questioning authority, tech addiction, and whether any system can or should decide who's guilty before they even do anything wrong.
Baby, thank God! What is this weird place?
Right this way, please. Welcome to Quindecum. Please have a seat.
Next up is Death Parade. Imagine waking up in a super fancy bar after you die, only to be told you've got to play a high-stakes game like darts or air hockey, but with your soul on the line. Welcome to Death Parade, where the cocktails are cold and the moral dilemmas are hotter than hell. At the center of it all is Quindecim, a mysterious bar run by Desham, a dead serious bartender who's actually an emotionless arbiter. His job? Make the recently deceased play a game that reveals the darkest corners of their souls, then decide if they get to be reincarnated or get yeeted into the void forever. But here's the twist. Desham starts catching feelings not like that, probably, especially after meeting a mysterious woman who throws his whole black and white system into fire. Suddenly, he's questioning whether anyone has the right to judge a person based on one bad moment, or even a lifetime of them. Death Parade doesn't just ask what happens after we die. It slaps you with questions like, what kind of person were you really? And can we ever fully understand someone else's pain? With sleek visuals, psychological gut punches, and an opening theme that absolutely does not match the show's emotional trauma, it's a must-watch for deep thinkers.
I know you're there.
Steins Gate takes Oops, Wrong Number to a whole new level. Rintaro Okabe, self-proclaimed mad scientist and king of dramatic monologues, accidentally whips up a time machine out of a busted microwave and a flip phone. Instead of reheating leftovers, this fires off D-mails, texts that land in the past and rewrite the present. At first, the future Gadget Lab crew treats it like a cheat code. Lottery wins, life tweaks, you name it, but every message splinters reality into a new world line, and the butterfly effect starts throwing punches. Their temporal ride puts them on CERN's radar, a shady organization already neck-deep in its own time travel experiments. Soon Okabe's goofy science project turns into a high-stakes scramble to dodge conspiracies, save friends, and stop a future nobody wants. It has all the heartbreak, infinite retrees, and a crash course in PTSD. What makes this ride stick isn't the technobabble, but the characters, Okabe's manic genius, Kurisu's sharp wit, Mayuri's endless optimism, all tangled in a story about friendship, sacrifice, and how far you'd go to fix one awful moment. I guess world lines are about to get messy.
昔よりずっと綺麗なんだよね。存在がとても儚げで。
Meet Koyomi Aragi, a guy who used to be a vampire but is mostly human again, with a few lingering supernatural perks. Life's weird enough already, but it gets even weirder when he stumbles upon his classmate, Hitagi Senjugahara, who basically has zero weight. Like, she literally defies gravity. Curious and a little concerned, Koyomi drags her to Mii Moshino, a super chill oddball who helped him with his own vampire problem, to figure out what's going on. Turns out, Hitagi isn't the only one dealing with strange phenomena. Koyomi suddenly finds himself knee deep in the lives of girls haunted by oddities, snails, monkeys, gods, and crabs. Each girl has her own supernatural baggage, and our guy takes it upon himself to help them out. But it's not just about monsters and curses. Bakemonogatari is a deep dive into emotional trauma, personal struggles, and the connections we form despite them. What really makes this anime shine is the lightning-fast, razor-sharp dialogue, unmatched wordplay, and quirky conversations that make you want to pause and rewatch every line. Add in stunning animation, an unforgettable soundtrack, and characters that actually feel alive, and you've got one of the most stylish, smart, and unique anime out there. A worm-like aliens, cowled parasites, crash land on Earth and immediately go full invasion mode, trying to hijack human brains by slithering through ears or noses. Gross, right? One of them tries to take over a high schooler named Shinichi, but things go sideways, and it only manages to fuse with his right hand instead. Now Shinichi's stuck with a sarcastic, hyper-intelligent alien roommate named Miji, literally attached to him. While other parasites are out here turning people into meat confetti, Shinichi and Migi find themselves labeled as weirdos by both sides. As the two try to survive against increasingly deadly threats, they also dive deep into questions about life, death, and what it really means to be human. Shinichi's once ordinary life is now a psychological roller coaster filled with body horror, moral dilemmas, and a growing existential crisis. Parasyte doesn't just deliver on creepy alien fights and emotional punches, it also throws in heavy philosophical questions and emotional weight that'll leave you thinking long after the credits roll. It's weird, it's deep, and it pulls no punches. If you like your action anime with a serious brain, this one's a no-brainer. Imagine dying and then waking up in a weird room with a giant black orb that basically says, "Congrats, you're not dead yet. Now go kill aliens." That's Gantz for you. Kei Kurono and Masaru Kato are just two average guys who get a second shot at life thanks to this mysterious orb named Gantz. But it's not a free ride. Gantz hands them super slick futuristic suits and weapons, then tosses them into absolutely brutal missions against bizarre alien creatures. You rack up points by surviving and slaying, and those points can buy you freedom, resurrection, or a second chance for a fallen teammate. But Gantz isn't just wild action and sci-fi. It dives into the heavy stuff. It throws you into a world that feels completely indifferent to human life, forcing characters and viewers to wrestle with questions about purpose, morality, and what it really means to live. It's gritty, unpredictable, and totally not for the faint of heart. But man, is it addictively good. Berserk is the kind of anime that grabs you by the collar, drags you through a blood-soaked battlefield, and dares you to look away. It follows Guts, a brooding warrior with a giant sword, a tragic past, and more rage than 1,000 anime protagonists combined. He starts off as a child soldier. Yep, it's that kind of story. He joins the legendary Band of the Hawk and actually finds something close to friendship, until everything crumbles in the most horrifying way possible during the infamous eclipse. Let's just say, betrayal hits different when literal demons are involved. From that point on, Guts becomes the Black Swordsman, cutting through monsters, apostles, and anything else in his way on a brutal quest for revenge. But Berserk isn't just about slicing baddies. It dives deep into heavy themes like fate, trauma, human ambition, and what it means to fight when everything's stacked against you. Guts isn't your typical hero. He's raw, flawed, and constantly torn between vengeance and redemption, with jaw-dropping artwork, complex characters, and a narrative that doesn't pull punches. Berserk is a gritty, emotional roller coaster. It's messy, it's intense, it's unforgettable. And once you start, you'll be haunted in the best way possible. Picture a Tokyo night lit by neon and secrets. Ever since Heaven's Gate in South America and Hell's Gate in the city cracked the sky wide open, weird stuff's been the new normal. Enter contractors, People who trade their emotions for freak show superpowers and have to pay a creepy price. Every time they use them, think crunching glass, reciting poetry, or breaking fingers. Yeah, it's weird. Our main man is, hey, codename BK201, a masked electricity slinger who moonlights as Li Shenshun, the mild-mannered Chinese exchange student nobody suspects of moonlighting as Tokyo's most wanted assassin. His day job? Doing dirty work for the syndicate, spying, back alley zapping, you name it, all while piecing together what really happened when the gates appeared. Some folks go in expecting an A to Z plot and get thrown by the show's mission of the week format. Trust me, stick around for the moody vibes, slick fight choreography, and noir-soaked atmosphere. It's style that drips off the screen. Between covert ops on rain-slick rooftops, cryptic conspiracies, and those unforgettable payments, Darker Than Black serves up supernatural espionage with a side of existential dread. It might not hold your hand through every mystery, but it sure knows how to keep the city's shadows. Vinland Saga throws you straight into the gritty, no-holds-barred world of Vikings, where swords talk louder than words, and life is as cheap as a loaf of stale bread. At the heart of it is Thorfinn, a young Icelander who watches his badass warrior dad, Thors, get killed by the sly and ruthless Askeladd. But instead of taking the usual revenge route, Thorfinn does something wild. He joins Askeladd's crew of mercenaries, tagging along with the guy he's sworn to kill, just so he can one day take him down in an honorable duel. The story doesn't just stop at revenge, though. It dives deep into the raw and messy world of the Viking era, with brutal battles, tense politics, and more drama than your favorite soap opera. You've got power-hungry kings, freedom-seeking slaves, and warriors just trying to find their place in a world drenched in blood. Even if you don't know a single thing about medieval history, the emotional weight and character growth pull you in hard. Whether it's the intense sword fights or the slow burn journey of self-discovery, Vinland Saga delivers one heck of a ride. Honestly, it's like Game of Thrones, but with more axes and fewer dragons. For the final anime on the list is One Punch Man. What do you do when you're so strong that every fight ends in one punch? Well, if you're Saitama from One Punch Man, you get really bored. Saitama's the kind of guy who could casually swat a god-tier monster while wondering what's for dinner. He's a hero for fun, but that insane strength has kinda sucked the joy out of life. No challenge, no hype, just endless yawns after every punch. So he joins the Hero Association, hoping for something, or maybe anything, to spice things up. Along the way, he picks up a loyal and slightly intense cyborg sidekick, Genos, and crosses paths with a wild roster of heroes and villains who take their jobs very seriously. But don't let the goofy premise fool you. One Punch Man balances hilarious gags with jaw-dropping action and surprisingly thoughtful themes. It pokes fun at superhero tropes while also delivering heartfelt moments, wild plot twists, and a world full of characters that start off as jokes but evolve into absolute legends. Whether you're here for the laughs, the punches, or just to see Saitama's deadpan reaction to an apocalyptic threat, this series delivers. It's a ridiculous, over-the-top ride that still finds time to ask, what does it really mean to be a hero?